Okay, deep divers ready to dive in. Today we're tackling Richie Mindset. And yeah, I know, right? The name's a little out there. Like a self-help guru. Cross with well,
Mm,
you get the idea.
Definitely not what I expected either. But hey, if it's got good advice, I'm all in.
Right, and it really jumps right in. First up, they're all about positive self-talk. Like full-on self-talk makeover level. Is there actual science behind that? Because let's be real, my self-talk's more like Debbie Downer than Tony Robbins.
You'd be surprised how many people feel that way. But there's actually a ton of research on this. Turns out that inner voice really does impact us, like a lot. Our emotions, what we do, even our physical health.
Whoa, seriously? I thought that was just like a self-help myth.
Nope, it's legit. One big example is something called cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT for short. It helps people change those negative thought patterns, kind of like rewiring your brain a bit.
Okay, now that's just wild. So we can actually, like, retrain our brains to be more positive, not just tell ourselves to cheer up and hope for the best.
Exactly. It's way more proactive than just slapping on a happy face and hoping it sticks. With CBT, you learn to really look at those negative thoughts, figure out where they're coming from, and replace them with ones that are more, well, realistic and balanced.
I guess, like, if our friend was feeling down, we wouldn't just tell them to buck up, right? We'd try to actually be supportive and understanding.
That's a great way to put it. We often treat ourselves way harsher than we'd ever treat someone we cared about.
So true. Okay, so Richie Mindset also talks a lot about our inner circle, like the people we surround ourselves with. They actually compare it to keeping rain clouds away from your beach party. A little cheesy, but the point makes sense. But how much can the people around us really affect our mindset?
It's huge. Way more than we realize. There's this thing called emotional contagion. Basically, emotions are kind of contagious, like a cold. If you're constantly around negativity, it's going to rub off on you, whether you like it or not. But the good news is, positivity is contagious too.
That's reassuring. But what about those people we can't exactly avoid? Like that coworker who could make a sunny day look gloomy, or that one relative who always finds something to complain about.
Ah, yes, those negativity ninjas can be tricky. And you're right, we can't always control who we have in our lives. But what we can control is how much we let their negativity affect us. Setting boundaries is key. You can limit your exposure to them, and when you do have to interact, just focus on keeping your own energy positive.
So their baggage doesn't become our baggage. Easier said than done sometimes, but really good advice.
Definitely.
All right, next up, gratitude. Richie Mindset is big on it, which seems like every self-help book ever. But does just thinking about what we're grateful for actually make a real difference?
It does sound almost too simple, right? But there's some seriously cool science behind it. Basically, gratitude shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have, and that can have a huge effect on how you feel overall.
Like tricking your brain into seeing the good stuff. I can get behind that.
Yeah. And it's not just mental. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude actually have lower levels of stress hormones like cortisol. And high cortisol is linked to all kinds of not so fun stuff: anxiety, depression, even problems with your physical health.
Oh, I had no idea it went that deep.
Yeah.
So it's not just some woo-woo self-help thing. It actually impacts our biology.
100%. And get this, expressing that gratitude out loud, like by writing it down, telling someone you appreciate them, even just smiling more can make those effects even stronger.
Love that. Okay, last but not least, Richie Mindset tackles the big one.
Failure. And get this, they want us to see it as a dot plot twist.
Catchy, right.
Totally. But also, way easier said than done. How do we actually reframe something that just feels plain bad?
It's all about asking yourself the right questions. Instead of getting stuck on the I messed up part, shift your focus to what can I learn from this? And how can I use this to make better choices in the future? That turns failure from a dead end into a stepping stone.
So it's not the end of the story, just a plot twist.
I love that. So it seems like with Richie Mindset, being positive isn't about ignoring the bad stuff or pretending everything's perfect. It's about choosing to approach life with this like toolkit of skills and perspectives that help us be more resilient, more grateful, and yeah, maybe even have a little more fun along the way.
It's like choosing to be the hero of your own story, even when things get tough.
And who doesn't love a good hero story, right?
Ah.
You know, this source was surprisingly funny, which got me thinking, how can we bring more humor and playfulness into our own journeys with positive thinking? Something to think about, deep divers. Keep exploring, and we'll catch you in our next deep dive.